Greetings, I am Toglin, Hell's Harlequin, but you may call me Tog. So, as you can see, I'm in the flesh, yet again. I want to discuss all the drama and everything surrounding Dylan Mulvaney, and I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm not 100% sure. But, anyways, I do apologize if I have a lot of background noise. Right now, my child is home, which she typically is. That's one of the reasons I don't record as much, because she can be very, very noisy at times. Um, but, anyways, back to the subject at hand, Dylan. So, I had, I had absolutely no idea who she was prior to a few days ago. Um, so I saw on my Facebook people freaking out, burning bras because Nike sponsored her. Um, and I was wondering what all the fuss was about. So I did what a normal person who's trying to research an issue does, is I went ahead and looked at the ad, and a lot of people say it was offensive and making fun of women. I just thought it was more of like poking fun of women. There's a difference between making fun and poking fun. It seems like her type of humor is more about making fun of female stereotypes and being a stereotype within herself, which I personally found that people who were overly offended by that just had no sense of humor and were just like, people like to call the left special snowflakes. I thought that was a little bit of a snowflakey thing, so I decided to look even further into her. So I went and clicked on her TikTok and started watching her videos. I went from forward to back, like her newest video, going backwards, and I ended up binge watching a bunch of her videos because you guys are going to hate me for this, but I thought she was really funny and really charismatic. And I could not figure out why everyone was freaking out. Because, like I said, I did my own research rather than listening to other anti-SJW channels. Because I'll be 100% honest, ever since the pandemic, I have stopped watching anti-SJWs. They've all gone very echo chambery, very conspiratorial. No one really has their own opinion anymore. They just feel like they just simply mimic one another. Like, it's just hard to explain, but everything's just been just very ridiculous. In fact, since the pandemic, I even lost a few people on my Discord channel because of differences in opinion. And that's just been quite the eye-opener ever since the whole pandemic started. Everything's gotten even more insane, more divided, and no one's willing to compromise on anything. So I pretty much completely started watching different sorry, I was fixing my eyebrows. I noticed they were a little out of whack. I've noticed that everything has just been just insane. Like, I think that left-leaning channels have had to either stop making content, make completely different content, or they've all gone really right-leaning, which they're calling themselves centrist, which is very disingenuous. Oh, honey, you are not a centrist if you are, like, parodying, like, OAN, or I think whatever, that very conspiratorial news network that just absolutely has a hard-on for Trump, or Fox News. You are no longer in the center. You are not center-left. You are maybe center-right, but you have fallen over and quit pretending you haven't. But anyways, back to Dylan, and a lot of people have been wondering, well, why is she this voice of... Okay, so, sorry to change subject, but I will say that I later found out that Dylan went to the president and petitioned the whole trans kids getting hormone treatment, which I 100% disagree with. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. I'm going to get this out of the way so you don't continue to get mad at me while watching this video. But I am talking about my journey, my research journey getting into this. And I have learned a lot of things about my genre of videos and a lot of reasons why people who don't keep up with things might see you guys or other people like my channel as the total, well, not like my channel, because I have never parroted anyone else's opinion ever. I have always made my own opinion on things, but I've noticed a lot of channels just seem to parrot and things like that. But anyways, back to, I get derailed a lot. That's one of the reasons why my videos are so short, is that I just simply edit out all of the times I get derailed so I can simply be very concise. But this is more of a rant. So through my journey, like I said, I watched a bunch of her videos and I could not find out what people had against her. In fact, I thought a lot of them were quite funny. And then I was like ranting on my Discord being like, what is wrong with her? She doesn't seem to have a political channel. Now, I'm sure she's talked about politics on her channel before, because, oh my goodness, she has so many videos. Just so many videos. But her more popular ones, which are the ones I clicked on, were all very tame and almost offensively non-offensive. And people saying that she's making fun of women and things like that. Like I said, I think they're just a little too sensitive, because to me it just seems very performative, very fun. You know, I have no issues with her content, other than, like I said, the opinion she shared with the president has definitely given me a negative opinion on her. But while I was researching this, I legitimately got angry, because all it did was feel like transphobia. I could not figure out what people had against her. So I decided to look up on YouTube and see what people had to say. A bunch of the videos that popped up were the Quarterings videos, and all he did was accuse her of being a grifter, and nobody had anything legitimate to say. All they did was say really mean things about her. Now, sure, maybe early in her videos, it could be easy to see why somebody might think she's a grifter, because she was very, more masculine presenting, because she was so early in her transition. But I'm sorry, honey, if you're going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on your face, plus you're going to be taking estrogen, and you know she's taking estrogen because throughout her journey, you can definitely see little boob buds growing in. She's got tiny boobs. That is, you know, maybe she's going to get big honkers one day, or maybe not. I think it's fine for a woman to have small boobs. That's entirely up to her. But yes, Dylan is definitely not a grifter, and people who claim she is and attacking her for it, they look like the bad guys. They do, because they're saying stuff that is definitely not true. And rather than, like, after she had her facial surgery and stuff, rather than saying, okay, we're wrong, she's a trans woman that we don't agree with and don't like her content, no, they're still insisting that she's a grifter, which makes them sound super disingenuous. Like, I almost feel bad for the Riley Dennis video I have up on my channel. The only reason I haven't taken it down is because it's my most watched video, and plus I still think it's funny because I'm a terrible person. But if you were to ask me today if Riley Dennis is just a transvestite, I'd say no. No, she has spent tons of money on her face. She has definitely gotten some boobs going. So I would say I don't like her. I think she's a jerk. And I think she shouldn't be pushing her opinions on us. But she's a woman. Like, I think I'm alienating a lot of my fan base with this video. But this is the thing, though, is when you say things that people on the outside can see are not true and insist that they're fact, you look like the jerk. The other thing is, if you don't know what we're having an issue with, it's really hard to pin down why things are going the way they're going. Nobody concisely says, I don't like her political opinions. I think that what she said with the president is completely abhorrent. If people's videos were more focused on why people have the biggest issues with her they do, then more people would understand. And a lot of people say one of the biggest things I've seen with the Nike sponsorship is people saying that, well, a real woman should have gotten the sponsorship. Well, here's the thing. Even if we're looking at most Olympians, like the top of the top athletes, they do not have the online presence that Dylan does. She has 10 million followers. She is, I think, the biggest or the second biggest trans channel there is. Like, you might hate her content. You might think she's cringy, you know, just insane. I'm trying to watch my language because my child's running around. But yeah, you might think that she is just uber cringy and you want nothing to do with her. She still has a reason why she's popular. Her videos are very well produced, and like it or not, she is the top most popular of popular. What these, like, people think that it's these companies going woke and things like that. Maybe, but the biggest reason I think the companies are doing what they are doing is, for one, they're trying to hit younger audiences. And TikTok is where all the 20-something-year-olds watch. Like, if you're like 28 minus, like, if you're like 5 to 28 or something like that, you're going to be watching TikTok more than YouTube or you know, you're more likely to do that than even be spending your time on Instagram and whatnots, right? She has a huge following. Huge, huge, huge. You know how I know? I went ahead and called some of my younger friends, and I'm like, so, like, I've asked them before, so what do you think of Blair White? None of them ever knew who she was. And I'm like, what do you think of Dylan Mulvaney? And they're like, Dylan? Oh, Dylan, she's so funny. I love her. And that is the average person's reaction I talk to, especially younger person. People love her. Maybe not in your circles, but the average person absolutely loves her. And when I'm talking to them, they think that the media is just being totally transphobic, and they think that the right is just simply picking on some poor trans woman. That is what it looks like from the outside, especially when all you do is see ad hominems and nobody's really pointing out the reason why they don't like Dylan. There's two reasons why people are so critical of her. One is she wants to normalize trans women who don't pass. And, you know, that's something I've been doing a lot of soul searching on personally, because if we're going back to the older standards on you need to do certain things before you're approved for surgeries to show your commitment and to make sure that you're actually, you know, mentally in the game, that you're really trans and not just going through other stuff. They used to have you live as a woman for a year, like change your license and stuff like that to being female before they'd even let you have like the feminization surgery or any of the surgeries. So if that's the case, maybe we do need to normalize women who don't pass as well as being women. And that's just something I've thought about. And like, my personal opinion on the whole trans bathroom thing is I don't mind trans women in the bathroom, because people say, well, there could be creeps that assault you. And I'm like, you know, before the whole trans women thing, there's no security in front of the bathroom. If a creep wants to assault me, he doesn't have to dress like a woman. Any sort of creep can just go into the woman's bathroom, hide out there, and like assault whoever they're going to assault. I don't necessarily know if dressing like a woman is going to help them or hurt them, or if it's going to make much of a difference. I don't mind because there's stalls in the women's bathroom. I just say, if we're letting guys in there, or if we want to make them unisex, make sure the latches all work properly, because I don't want to see that. Which reminds me of, I'm okay with them in the bathroom, but I'm not okay with them in the locker room. Call me a bigot if you want, but that's where my line goes. But anyways, if a woman who doesn't pass as well is in the woman's bathroom, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to think of anything of it, right? And one thing is, I do have to say, people have very poor sense of humor, because one of the biggest things that they're making fun of Dylan Mulvaney about is her video of, oh yeah, trans women buy tampons too. I will show you. And then she started handing out the tampons for free, being like, anyone want a tampon? I actually thought that was hilarious. Like, not gonna lie, that's a build-up. It's got a punchline. I think it's a good joke. I think it's cute. And that's the thing. Most people think she's cute. And most people I know have no idea who Blair White is. She has only a little over 1 million followers. everyone knows who Dylan is. I ask around, do you know who Dylan is? And everyone's like, yes. And she is so funny. It could just be the circles I run, but I also live in a red state and take that into consideration. So, yeah. And the worst part is when you're looking up the whole controversy and you're reading through the comments, nobody brings up what she said to the president. People just simply attack her for the way she looks. They call her a grifter. They say she's making fun of women, which like I said, watching her content, I found that people, you can disagree with me, but to me that just seems like people being sensitive about comedy. And like I said, you can disagree with me if you want, but that's my personal opinion, is that I have no issues with her content. Most people I've talked to have no issues with her content. Most of the younger people find her funny. When I mentioned to my one friend, do you realize that she talked to the president? Oh yeah, but I don't have an interest in politics, is what she said. And I'm like, oh, did you realize that she petitioned for trans women, well, for kids to go on hormone therapy, like hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy before 18? And she's like, no. Oh my goodness, I don't agree with that. So most of these people do not know what the actual issues are. And the whole just, well, she's promoting normalizing trans women that don't pass. You're still going to be divided. More people I've found, even on the left, are divided about the trans kid thing. Because most people who I know who are left-leaning say they are 100% okay with socially transitioning, but they are completely against medically transitioning before the age of 18. One other thing is, in order for me to even find out what's going on, because I was freaking out on Discord being like, what is this? Why is everyone picking on her? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't keep up with this content. I'm not in the know. I'm in the outside. And to me, this seems like true transphobia. People linked a Blair White video. And one reason why I've stopped kind of watching Blair White, which I do love a lot of her content, but sometimes she is just a little too catty for me, especially when it comes to other trans people, because all she really did was pick on her about a lot of her content and things like that. Like, most of the stuff I see on Dylan is people taking her skits out of context. They're acting like this is how she acts, and that this isn't just simply her attempts at comedy. And if you watch the skits in context and what she's saying in context, it all makes sense, and it's a skit. There's videos where she actually does do heart-to-hearts, and they have a completely different tone. Most people see her trying to be funny and quirky for her TikTok following and think that she's just being completely serious. And do you realize when you do that, you kind of look dumb? You do. You look dumb. And one thing that I was noticing is that Blair was so freaking bitter about the fact that Dylan got more popularity than her. She doesn't seem to realize that she's well, why is she getting all the attention when she's so new into her transition? I'm like, because she exploded on the internet, honey. That is why. She is very popular. It's the same reason why she's getting all these corporate sponsorships. It's not because people agree with her. It's because she's so popular. She's made herself popular. She is so big, so fast, that she has been just simply a subject of interest. It's not that deep. Companies are drooling over her 10 million followers. They want her audience. They want her audience to buy their merchandise. I don't know if they agree with her politics. They probably don't, or maybe they do. I don't know. But it's not nearly as deep as people make it out to be. And on the outside, if you don't know anything about anything, you look like the jerk. You really, really, really do. And why has no one really looked at these channels in more of a critical eye and realizing how it looks from an outsider? Nobody cares. Nobody cares that to the average person who doesn't know anything, who's just like, why are they picking on Dylan? They have no idea. Like, seriously. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I wish all of you a pleasant rest of your day.